Welcome to the Health Farm with Dr. Hamisi Kote Ali.
Learn more about your health and well-being, because pain is not a lifestyle. Pain is not a lifestyle, because pain is not a lifestyle.
Welcome to the Health Farm podcast. My name is Dr. Hamisi Kote Ali. Excited to welcome you into yet another episode of Free Gifts of Nature. Yes, we have been covering the free gifts of nature, and today we cover a big one. They call it silence. In other words, meditation. Before we go into the details of meditation, I want us to go back into the nervous system, and in the central nervous system we have three key pillars. That is what we call the motor nerves. Here, the human garage, we call it the structure. And then we have what we call the autonomic nerves, which here, the human garage, we call metabolism. And then we have the sensory nerves, which here, the human garage, we call emotion. So we're going to dwell into the emotional health part with meditation today. So that then we can end up understanding how the three pillars of health come together to play that vital role that helps in maintenance and improvement of your health. All right, so what is meditation and why is meditation important? Meditation is known as the reset button of our central nervous system. We live in a world that is noisy, a world that is chaotic, a world that requires more every single day. As a result, the central nervous system, the autonomic nervous system, gets interrupted. Why? Because the autonomic nervous system is divided into two main components. One is what we call the sympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is the fight or flight mode of our body. Meaning, you have a lion coming at you, you have two options. Either you wait for it and fight it, or you take off running. The other part of the central nervous system that is key is the parasympathetic nervous system. This is the rest and digest part of the central nervous system. In this case is where the body gets to recover, where the body gets to heal, where the body gets to rest and settle. And therefore, today's topic of meditation, our key focus is how do we calm our mind from all the chaotic things that happen around us. But before we go into the actual practical, let's look into the benefits. Number one, meditation is very, very important in reducing stress. Why? It is like a switch off button to cortisol, the stress hormone that gives your body always elevated at the sympathetic nervous system. Instead, meditation brings calmness that puts your body into what we call the rest and digest, that is the parasympathetic nervous system. Number two, meditation aids in focus and concentration. Research shows that when we practice mindful meditation, we are able then to increase our concentration span and be able to shut out noise that is in our daily lives. Then we have emotional stress and self-awareness. Meditation helps you to focus in yourself and be able to understand yourself better, at the same time helping you gauge what comes out of your mouth. So instead of you being a reactive person, whenever things you become someone who not only do you react, but you respond a guided, through a thoughtful response, instead of just reacting because of being in such a hyper situation. Then we have the physical changes that meditation can help you with. One of them is sleep. Meditation shuts off that excessive noise, that excessive information that puts you into an insomnia, into the loss of sleep. So meditation calms your body down, puts your body into that rest and digest mode, so that you are able to rest and sleep. And as we know, sleep is key in how our body functions and in recovery. The next thing is reduction in blood pressure. Yes, it is known that if you are able to put our body into the parasympathetic nervous system and remove it from the chaotic sympathetic nervous system, then we are able to help improve the cardiovascular health of our body. The other thing is pain. People who suffer from chronic pain and practice mindful meditation, you are able to alter your pain perception so that you can be able to have a more productive and meaningful life. And lastly, which is the most important and the one that has been recognized in a lot of literature, is neuroplasticity. What is neuroplasticity? Neuroplasticity is the fact that meditation has been shown to be able to help increase the size of your brain. That's right, increase the size of your brain, increase the size of your gray matter, helping with areas of learning, focus, and empathy. At the same time, shutting down a special center in our brain called amygdala that is responsible for stress and fear. So you can see, just being quiet can really have immense health benefits to the three pillars of health. Because if our emotion is quiet, our autonomic nervous system will rest and digest better, and the muscles will also rest and be able to function as it should. But I'm sure you're wondering, well, how is it done? And here I'm going to take just a very short time to help you understand how we're going to do our meditation. I'm going to use this box. I want you to have an imagination of a box like this one. This is how we're going to use it. We're going to be able to breathe deep breath, count of 4 one side, hold, then count of 4 breathe out, hold, then count of 4 breathe in, hold, then count of 4 breathe out. And we're going to do this circle repetition for 4 to 5 times. I am calling you to do it from your mind, from your thoughts. So get up, get a good position, sit down. If you can't sit down on crossing your legs, you can sit up in your chair. Take your upright position, have your hands on your palm. I'm gonna have mine here, and be upright. Close your eyes, or just relax your eyelids so that you shut down external distractors. And here, let's start. So you breathe in a count of 4. Let's go. Breathe in 1. At a count of 4, we hold, and we count another count of 4, and we exhale. For a count of 4, we hold. For a count of 4, we inhale. For a count of 4, we exhale. For a count of 4, we hold. For a count of 4, inhale. For a count of 4, exhale. For a count of 4, hold. For a count of 4, inhale. For a count of 4, exhale. For a count of 4, inhale. For a count of 4, exhale. Exhale. For a count of 4, inhale. For a count of 4, exhale. For a count of 4, inhale. For a count of 4, hold. For a count of 4, exhale. For a count of 4, hold. For a count of 4, inhale. For a count of 4, exhale. For a count of 4, hold. For a count of 4, inhale. For a count of 4, exhale. For a count of 4, inhale. And for a count of 4, exhale. Slowly open your eyes, rub your face. How do you feel? Practice this mindful meditation exercise at least 10 minutes every single day, and try to push it towards 30, and let's see in a month how will your health, how will your mindfulness, how will your body and life improve. Until we see you again for the next episode, this is Health Farm, where we say Mother Nature is the best doctor, and barefooting is the Barefoot Doctor's prescription. We say keeping it between stretch and relaxation, because pain, my friend, is not a lifestyle. We say keep it simple, keep it amazing. For now.